All right, folks, so the Wandavision season finale. We're finally done with the show. It's been so long. Quite a journey, and it's out. Let's talk about it. I'm just going to jump right in because I have lots to say. Hopefully I move at a quick pace like the episode, which moved at a very quick pace, something I noticed I had a lot to cover, especially after the last episode, episode 8, which moved at a noticeably slower, pace than the rest of the season to sort of explore Wanda's grief more. This one definitely does not waste any moments. You have Agatha say a little line about how the Scarlet Witch is more powerful than, of course, the Sorcerer Supreme, which is of Doctor Strange, as we know. And I thought maybe, that was sort of setting up a potential fight if Wanda turned evil in the series. It's still probably setting up a potential fight. But, there's been some arguments recently about the most powerful person in the MCU. And if anyone's saying Doctor Strange, I'm not sure you can, because it's canonical now that Wanda's more powerful. Or the Scarlet Witch, which is now Wanda because she has all the chaos magic, is more powerful than Doctor Strange. So put that debate to rest. And then, of course, you have Pietro, who is Ralph. And again, my same question as always, and I'm holding on to a shred of hope that I get a real answer, a real valid answer about Pietro and why he looks like X-Men Quicksilver. I would have been fine with Evan Peters being Ralph had he not been playing Quicksilver in this show, had he not been playing Pietro. I'm not going to accept that it was just a wink and a nod at the audience, a fun little cameo. It's disappointing, I have to be honest. There are a lot of fights in this episode, and the Vision fight is epic, honestly. I've seen some people complain about it. I thought it was very, very cool. Two supreme beings flying around with their lasers, and they're like phasing through each other. I thought that stuff was dope. You have a little Incredibles homage when the kids and Wanda and Vision back up against each other in the plaza. That's a nice little cool shot. There are a lot of different homages, especially to previous films in the MCU in this episode, and I'll discuss the ones I noticed. And maybe if you saw any, you let me know down in the comments below. The Plaza Fight is awesome. You have, again, the Visions attacking each other. You have Wanda and Agatha going at it. And then the kids and Monica are now getting involved, both with Sword, which is now rolled up and in to the town. Crazy, crazy stuff. And it's all great content. I'll probably look it up, or someone, Comic Enlightened can tell me down below. What exactly are Monica's powers? Because obviously we saw the bullets go through her. Something energy related, something like that. But yeah, I'm just curious what her powers are, and hopefully we get a good explanation soon. And then Vision and White Vision have a conversation, in the library, a great scene. And so again, sort of a callback to Vision and Ultron, where he didn't defeat Ultron that way, but their last moments together were sort of Vision educating Ultron on why he was wrong, what his failures were, and they sort of do that again, except now it's Vision versus himself. They're both very intelligent people. Outside the box thinkers, and then White Vision's following a protocol, and Vision tries to get in his head, he does it literally, but also I guess metaphorically, figuratively, and just convince him why what he's doing is wrong. And White Vision, I'm a little confused. I think he looks awesome and he's a cool concept, but I am a little skeptical / nervous about what they're going to do with the character. I'll get to that later. And then you have Wanda showing Agatha her greatest fear, which is, she goes up behind her and does the little thing, which is a callback to Age of Ultron. She hasn't used that power since, so it is nice to sort of get that power again. Cool scene. And then, folks, a great, great moment when Wanda, you get the reveal that, you're like, Wanda's getting defeated, and then you recognize the runes all around the hex. And Wanda has defeated Agatha, and it's a great moment by itself, but of course the cherry on top, her arms outstretched, and she has become the Scarlet Witch. The costume folds in around her. It's a great costume, by the way, great costume design, and it's awesome. It really, really is cool. And then, of course, she, punishes Agatha by making her just a nobody, like a nosy neighbor. That's just her character. And of course, Agatha says there are lines about, needing her someday. So there's obvious plans for her to come back. We're not sure the role yet, of course. Some supervisor either to Wanda or a different villain, or maybe a different hero if someone has to defeat Wanda in the future. But she will come back eventually, of course. Somebody, I can't remember who, I think Wanda says the line to her kids, I think. We can never truly leave each other, which is, of course, foreshadowing, because these kids will be seen again. Which, sort of leaves me to beg the question. They're tied to the reality, so does that mean, maybe Wanda finds a way with the magic that she will learn to separate them from the reality, which again, makes me a little bit skeptical because the MCU has a problem with death and characters not actually dying. But I guess I'll get into that in a bit. And just obvious foreshadowing. And then a line I was confused about. Wanda says, thanks for choosing me to be your mom. I'm missing something? That was just confusing. I don't know. Is that actually what? I don't know. Just explain that to me if you understood it, because I didn't. And then I must be stupid because I didn't piece together that, I knew both facts, that Wanda was, of course, a lot of her powers were given to her because of the Mind Stone, and Vision is the Mind Stone. That's a major part of him. And I guess that makes sense as to why Wanda was able to create him, because she has a bit of the Mind Stone in her. I thought it was because, she was deriding power when she went to touch Vision's body, but I don't know. Yeah. And then you have a little callback to Infinity War, almost shot for shot, if I'm not mistaken, when they say their goodbyes to each other. Wanda's like touching his face in the scenes in Scotland, right before the whole conflict goes down, where, you have human Vision with the stone. I'll probably put it up on screen. You can see it right now. And they're saying goodbye. It's a tearful moment. And, of course, this time, again, it is. Vision was always going to die in the series, folks. I don't think there was ever any doubt about it. And it was necessary, and Wanda recognized that. And I think everyone knew that this had to happen. Wanda gets out of the reality, and she's already viewed as a villain by all the Westview citizens. And I assume that this will be, again, a national story. At the very least, but it wasn't really, talked about in Far From Home. So curious as to how they'll manage that, but I assume Wanda will only continue to be perceived as the villain if she ever comes back into the limelight, because as we know in the post-credit scene, she is secluded, and she's already viewed as the villain by those guys, obviously. And then here we go. I look like a fool, huh? Because, you have no villain Wanda yet, which, sort of everyone was predicting. She probably will be a villain eventually, to be fair. But she's a villain. She's not a villain yet. She's solo again right now, which she was after Endgame, which is why she created the reality in the first place. So we will see how that goes. You have no multiverse, which nearly everyone thought would happen. It's still coming down the line, obviously, but my question is when. Sort of looking at the slate, it's not going to happen in Black Widow, not going to happen in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Loki will likely have elements of it, but it won't be the creation of the multiverse. Loki's not going to be that big. What if? Obviously not. Shang-Chi, no. Eternals, no. Spider-Man 3 would create it. It feels like, that film already has enough on its plate if all the rumors are true. So I'd be surprised if the multiverse is created there. So I'm very curious as to how. I thought really this was going to be the one. Or maybe really Spider-Man 3, the rumors aren't true. Because obviously, they misdirected us a lot here. And maybe Multiverse of Madness introduces us to the multiverse. We'll find out in due time. You have no Ralph. Well, you have Ralph, but not Mephisto Ralph. No Mephisto. Don't. No Mephisto. No Pietro explanation. Bit disappointed, and no cameo, which I'm not too mad about because it is kind of funny now that I think about it after I let it sit. But it's just a lesson for us not to get our expectations up, because that was a funny joke, I have to be honest. But it's also a little disappointing that we were all predicting these big names to show up, and of course no one did. And then you have the post-credit scene. The first one, you have Monica talk to a Skrull. I'm wondering if that's her Skrull friend from Captain Marvel. And obviously she's pointing up. So Monica's going back into space. She is going to presumably the sword base that we saw at the end of the Far From Home thing. And we don't know what her mission is. It's possible, I don't know, the next space MCU project is Eternals. I don't know if it's set present day in the MCU. Meaning Monica could get a cameo there. It could just be Captain Marvel 2 related, or, we'll find out. And then in the other post-credit scene, a bit odd, is Wanda separate from the Scarlet Witch? What's going on there? How is she simultaneously, practicing reading from the Darkhold while also going about her normal life? Is it like a dark dimension thing? They really didn't do a job of showing that to us if it's true, but yeah, just a question on my mind. In retrospect, it's sort of funny when you finish the show and look back and think about all the things that you thought would happen. Makes sense nothing major happened because, again, you do have Spider-Man Far From Home that happens after WandaVision. So if anything big were to happen, we would obviously know about it chronologically. So it does make sense. And just be more aware next time, when we make expectations like this. Similarly, I can't help but laugh at all the red herrings that were there, demon spawn devil. Marvel knew what they were doing. It was always a thought in the back of my mind that it would be a red herring, but I also sort of felt like, maybe there was a sense it's true. Still might not be a red herring, to be fair. I assume Pietro Ralph isn't gone forever, so it could be revealed again, Mephisto, sometime down the line, but for now, they got us good, folks. They got us good. And then I have lots of questions. I'm just going to speed through these. Again, if you know the answer, let me know, but I assume most of you won't, because a lot of these are just, will be explored, but are not yet. So Agatha, of course, is now her nosy neighbor version, and I'm wondering if Wanda closed the reality, she shut off Vision and the kids, how is Agatha, what happened to her, right? So, and then obviously people have pointed out in the Wanda end credit scene that you can hear the voices of her kids coming from the Darkhold, and just that they need her help. So it's presumably that Vision and Agatha are also in that same little realm that are just, of course, not manifested because there is no reality that exists, no alternate reality like Westview, but they still are off, in some little pocket of some world, maybe a different multiverse. And then also, I think I'll just throw in here that I am nervous that if they do find a way to manifest the kids into reality, which, they are pretty big characters, there's a lot of comic precedents for them. People are speculating about the Young Avengers. So it's possible that that does happen. Then I'm also worried that we might get Vision manifested. And that would again reinforce the point that the MCU can never let a character die. Please, Vision had his moment. It was a great run. I'm fine with him even being in WandaVision because, it serves a point narratively to express Wanda's grief. But do not bring him back, please. Let him rest. He had a great run. And again, I'll get to White Vision in a bit, but I'm worried that they might go that route with him too. We'll see. Going along that line, just how will the kids come back? How will Agatha come back? How will potentially Vision come back? Because they will, folks. They will come back. And then I'll talk about White Vision here. Just White Vision, obviously, he's coming back because he just flew off, went away. And now he has the mind of Vision. He still probably needs to come to terms with reality a bit. Again, he looks cool. I would appreciate him as a sort of reverse Vision, but I guess we already sort of got that in Ultron, just an evil AI. But please do not make him the replacement Vision for the good guys. Just basically Vision with a different look, still Paul Bettany. Please don't do that. I'm begging you, Marvel. Don't do it. I don't know what the future of the character holds for him, what the future holds for that character. I hope and trust that it will be something good. Was Pietro seriously just a cameo? Please don't be just a cameo. In Quicksilver role, obviously. Please don't be just a cameo because that would be so stupid. That would be so stupid. When is the multiverse coming? I talked about that earlier because, again, it is coming. What exactly are Monica's powers? I said all this. And Wanda will become evil, presumably. And if she does, how will it happen? All right, just a bit of a season review here. WandaVision had an interesting arc of quality, right? I'm going to rank the WandaVision episodes, by the way, after this video comes out. So keep an eye out for that if you're one of the first here. Otherwise, search for it, or maybe it'll be recommended. But yeah, I'm going to rank the episodes, and I'll just say it didn't really maintain consistency throughout. I don't think many TV shows do, to be fair. But it was never bad per se, right? I don't want to spoil my thoughts on the episodes because, again, I have a video for that, but there was definitely not a lot of consistency there. And I think that a lot of people's expectations got in the way of this ending per se, from what I've read at least. People are underwhelmed, and that's fine if you're underwhelmed. Let me know down below why, if it's not expectations. But I have a feeling that a lot of people were predicting multiverse, predicting Mephisto, and that's fine to let your mind wander. This is a mysterious, intriguing show that is about, it's supposed to be thought-provoking, and it wants you to get involved, wants to subvert your expectations almost. And so, but don't let that reflect your opinion of it, right? And I assume that many people will die down with that perspective once enough time has passed that you can revisit it with a fresh perspective. But yeah, don't let that cloud your opinion of the episode. I'd say rewatch it again, forget any theories, any opinions you might have had, and think about the quality and what you actually like in the episode. If you still don't like it, not a problem. I thought it was great. The series in general did something very, very different for the MCU, obviously. It was able to, it was a sitcom, obviously, but it was also a mystery and intriguing. And the audience had no idea what was going on until it was bit by bit unraveled to us. And so a main complaint of the MCU is that it follows this cookie-cutter formula. And I'm not sure you can say that about WandaVision because obviously it didn't. It was a sitcom. It started out as a legitimate sitcom with tinges of oddness. That's not a word, I don't know. But tinges of just odd moments. If the MCU wasn't a thing, you would just be slightly confused, but you would still think it's a recreation of a sitcom. And then, it does tie into the MCU still really well. And I think it's a great start to Phase 4 of the MCU. I think it explores Wanda's grief very well. It really builds off of that character, and it sort of gives that part of her a little bit of closure. I was expecting her to be a villain, so I don't know if I say that part of her yet, because that might be down the line. But it closes that out really well, and I really applaud it for bringing back characters like Monica was obviously going to come back, but characters like Darcy and Jimmy, who honestly I never expected to be more than just cameos again because of how their films were received, how they weren't really, driven to star status by their roles, and they were brought back here and done really well, and I applaud the MCU for that, and I expect that to be a recurring thing, bringing characters back. Like you'll have Abomination in She-Hulk, a character who, again, I would have never predicted would see the light of day. I hope the MCU continues to take risks like this, because I think it really, really paid off here. And I think it is a great start to both Phase 4 and the Marvel division of TV shows on Disney+. As I mentioned earlier, there's varying consistency among the episodes, which is bound to happen when you have a TV show. And I would say that while, some of the moments are just by default the worst in the MCU, just because they are just at times boring sitcom, to be quite frank, the show easily has some of the best top tier moments in the MCU as well. Some of these just moments are absolutely stellar. I'll talk about them in my episode review again. Go watch that. And folks, something special Marvel has created here. I cannot give it anything less than an A, just for both pure quality. In the beginning, it was just sticking to making it super accurate to time period sitcoms, and then grief, the exploration of grief, continuing the mystery. This is a really well-made show. A really, really well-made show. All right, folks, so that's my review of WandaVision. What a ride it's been. Can't wait to see Wanda again. I cannot wait to see Falcon and the Winter Soldiers 2 weeks from me recording this video. Very excited to see that one. I will be here on this channel with reviews of that, so check those out when those come out. I've been EDPC Reviews. You've been amazing. So much Marvel content on this channel. Check it all out. I'll see you in the next video.